Rovers, welcome back to the channel. My name is Zeno, and nearly 2 weeks prior to my 300 days video being uploaded, which I published a few days back, so feel free to check that out if you are interested in my progress, I put up a community post asking the community, hey, if there is any questions you'd like to ask me in regards to WuWa, let me know and I will include them in that video. Well, even though I only got like a small handful of questions in typical Xeno fashion, I like to talk a lot. So I decided to just turn it into its own video instead. One of the questions which I think a lot of people will be interested in, just because everyone's always interested in just knowing these things, is how much money have I actually spent on WuWa in 2025? Which I do actually go and look into, and I will tell you straight up. Along with other questions regarding like player retention, kit synergies, echo farming solutions, like who would I S6 if I could? So if you guys have any questions at all, just in regards to WuWa, just post them in the comment section down below, and next time I do one of these videos, maybe in like a month or maybe 2, we'll see, I can just help answer them. With that being said, remember, if you like what I do here, just giving you my very average opinion in some very casual content, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Become a member of the channel to support me directly, like all these people already have. Join the Discord to chat to the community there. Let's just jump into it, shall we? So, the big one, and I am very aware people have low attention spans, so let's do the big question first at the start of the video. Olaf's House asks, how much money have you spent so far in WuWa? Now, I will admit, this was a little hard and actually time-consuming to figure out, and it's still only kind of rough numbers, but it's fairly accurate. Now, because I play on my PlayStation 5, I do actually have a transaction history dating back to my very first Lunite subscription, which was $8.95 Australian, on the 3rd of February, and my first monthly pass, which was on the 13th of February. So I didn't actually buy the first one until like 10 days after, which is interesting, as my first video on the channel was the 28th of January. So I hadn't even bought like the $5 or whatever it is, like, you know, all the monthly pass before I started YouTube and made my very first viral video. So let's just get to the number, like drum roll please. $2,000 Australian, which is like roughly $1,300 USD. From the 3rd of February, which was my very first Lunite subscription, to the 1st of November, because I don't believe I've bought anything in the last like 2 weeks. So that's like roughly 271 days, but I also did play the game actually on the 5th of January, because that's when I summoned Carlotta. So you add like nearly another month on top of that. I also played for like a week or 2 when the game launched, and then when Chun-Li's banner released, I logged back in, got that character, and then quit again. So roughly, as I mentioned in my like 300 days video, I've actually played for like 315 to maybe 325 days in total, which equates to like roughly $6.25 a day, which sounds like a lot, which is like about $190 on average a month on WuWa. Now, that's not actually really how much I've spent per month. That's just a very wildly inflated increase because of the top-up packs in the store. Because you know how they have the first-time bonus, which is double the amount. So before the anniversary hit, and I think it was, what, 2.4? I bought the packs because I hadn't bought them yet, and they were about to reset. And I didn't want to miss out on double the amount because, you know, the packs are already awful value. So if you get double, it's kind of worth it if you're going to be spending money anyway on the game. I just didn't want to miss double the amount. And that was like $330 to buy all the packs in Australian. And then after it reset, I bought them again. So that was like another $330. But this is only once a year. Like, you can't buy the packs again with double top-ups. It's literally once a year. So if you take out the top-up packs, which was like a once-off, I just happened to buy them in the same month, and it was like obscenely expensive month. That 2,000 Australian dollars drops down like 660 bucks to like, you know, 1,400 rough dollars in total. And it's like, it drops down to about 135 a month. So all in all though, I only spend that much on WuWa because I've made that money back from YouTube and Kuro sponsors, a loot bar sponsor. Like, I've made more than I've spent. Otherwise, I never would. Like, that's just an insane amount of money for a single gacha game. on pixels. They're just pixels. Like, I haven't spent money on, like, say, Genshin Impact since December a year ago. I hadn't even bought the Battle Pass in, like, a year. And in about a year and a half, actually. I think I mentioned that in one of my previous videos. Like, I didn't think I was getting enough value, so I just stopped spending the 10, 15 bucks a month. The top-up packs and my double bonuses are still available on Genshin since the anniversary. Honkai Star Rail, they're still available. I haven't bought them as well. And I haven't been buying the Battle Pass in HSR either, because, like, I just don't play the games enough and don't enjoy them enough, or just don't think I'm getting enough value. Zenless Zone Zero, I have spent a bit on though, not as much as WuWa, but again, it's covered by YouTube. Otherwise, I just wouldn't do it. Like, also, this is just far less than what I've spent on gaming all my prior years. Like, I used to collect all the physical games, collector's editions, special editions. Like, in the last couple of years, I've collected a lot of merchandise, like figures. I've got some manga and light novels behind me. You guys have seen them in my back shots. These are my main hobbies that I spend on every month. Like, this is my main thing. This is what I do with my spare money. And I do it responsibly. Like, I used to not do it responsibly. I got myself into a lot of trouble when I was a lot younger and stupider with money and paying bills and rent and all food and everything. Like, but I learnt my lesson. And again, I would not have spent that much if I wasn't actually earning it back. There's just absolutely no way in hell. Next question, Remers Mondale writes in, since gacha games' player retention method involves character designs to hook players, which WuWa characters make you keep coming back to the game, and why? I currently own both Brant and Shiyuan. Playing as cool dudes is really satisfying. It is. We just don't have enough of them. So when it comes to characters, I generally need like very deep relationships and connections to them through stories and interactions. Like, Cardathea is my favorite WuWa character. Everyone pretty much knows this. And actually, just in recent memory, she's one of my favorite gaming characters, like, period, not just gacha. I have like a Cardathea desktop wallpaper. I have like a lot of official Cardathea merch pre-ordered, from like acrylic stands to a little hand puppet. Like, I have a slightly not safe for work figure of her pre-ordered, which is the very first time I've ever done something like that. But Cardathea's like emotional story, her visual appearance, obviously I think she's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like her gameplay, the music that was tied to her ending in 2.2, everything just kind of really hit me, and I definitely developed like a very deep love for her character, to the point that I play the character every single day, even still since her release. And just to extend this to like other games, just for more examples, Honkai Star Rail. Firefly is my favorite HSR character. Cliche, I know. I have like a $900 Firefly statue. I have acrylic stands. I have a phone case. Like, even though I'm mostly out of the door on HSR, like I haven't been enjoying it for most of the year. I barely play it anymore. I barely do the main story and many of the events. Like, I'm many patches behind a lot of stuff. Like, Firefly every day or week just to play. I still keep coming back over a year and a half after her debut in the 3.X debut, and it still keeps me hanging on because I'm just that in love with her. And she's actually getting another support like next patch, so that's just like amazing, perfect timing. And her figure just went up for pre-order for next December, a full 13 months away from now. I 100% pre-ordered that on the spot. But like, it was the same thing. It was her story, her visual appearance, her music tied to her quests. Like, I can love a lot of characters in these gacha games especially, right? But there is so many good characters and fun characters that it all starts to kind of bleed together. Even when a game turns to crap, these specific characters that have like the full package for me, they make me stay and they make me hang on like a little bit longer sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. They keep me coming back to play. So, long answer, but hopefully that helps. Joe Snow writes in, what do you think of character kit synergies, and do you think it's beneficial or important that players' favorite characters be somewhat usable with a wider array of characters? I'm looking at Uzani for the theory crafting or just for variety's sake. It's funny because since that he asked that question, I've now released a Uzani video. So, firstly, Everyone's going to have a different favorite, so there's going to be times where your favorite just turns out to be super broken meta, like in Shorekeeper's sake. And like, if your favorite mega #1 waifu is Shorekeeper, you've been over the moon since her initial release, because she can be used in just so many teams, and she can still be used in so many different teams. She's basically so universal that I still think she's the best unit in the game a year later. But there'll be times where your #1 fave is someone like Chi-Yuan, the new 5-star, like where he's super niche. He doesn't have enough damage to function as a like sub DPS properly. He has no support in healing or shielding, and he's kind of just there to buff a very specific thing, which is like echo damage units, which there are mainly just 2 of at the moment, in Gelbrunner and Frolova. So yeah, like it would be nice to have everyone's specific favorite usable everywhere, but it doesn't really work because everyone's going to have different favorites, and just every character is just designed so wildly different. That being said, I think most units should be more flexible, and Kuro's done a fairly good job after Zani that most of that is true. Like, take Yuno. She has a very clear best in slot synergy with Augusta, but she has enough DPS on her own and healing to function, or in just other teams with a heavy attack outro buff. Frolova, she really wants Cantarella, like Havoc buffers like Rosia, or the new Chi-Yuan for echo damage, but Frolova's so strong and so versatile, she can function as a strong DPS in basically like any team individually. And you can use Verena and Shorekeeper buffs too if you want to play normal hypercarry style. Now, Lupa is another good example, one of my favorite characters. She doesn't need specific fusion units, she just needs fusion units. So as the roster grows, her synergy will quite literally, with literally any fusion units in the game, will just continue to expand, and she'll continue to just become more and more wanted and valued. So that's what I look at when I want like versatility in characters and like, you know, stuff like that. Glitchy God writes in, what solution would you have to make farming Echo experience easier? I just think the whole system needs an overhaul come 3.0. Like, I think it's actually kind of absurd that you need not only experience, but you need tuners. Like, there should be just experience, like the Hoyo games, which is pretty much your direct competition so far. There's a lot of new games coming out, but it's still mostly the Hoyo, right? We should have daily farming simulation challenge. We can farm credits, we can farm weapon experience, resonator experience, but we cannot farm echo experience or tuners specifically. There should be something we can use our daily energy on purely just to level echoes up that isn't a domain, so that we can acquire more echoes as well. We should be able to use spare echoes that we don't need for a fraction of the experience needed. Every other single game that I've played in complete recent memory does this. And Kuro decided to be like really cutesy and not only not allow this, but make you have a secondary limited resource in tuners to be able to just level up the echoes in the first place. Like, not even like get me started on, I think the values should be adjusted for the RNG in the echoes when you roll them. Having between a 6.3 and a 10.5% crit rate and a 12.6 and a 21% crit damage difference is like absurd to me. Like, you can roll double crit on every piece and have like literally up to 15% less crit rate and 40% less crit damage, if not more. And that's just crit ratios. We're not talking about any of the other stats you can roll. Like, I know people that have personally quit the game from these systems. Like, and again, the nightmare echo nests, like, I think they need to be respawnable with energy like domains. Like, stop gatekeeping every new set to once a day. I just think that's wild behavior, and they seem to be doubling down on this every single patch. Like, stop. My boy Chandler writes in, which female and male resonator would you want to S6? He has two questions actually. Female is clearly Cardathea, but favorites aside, because most people already know that, and mine's already S5, and I will pick up her S6 on her first rerun whenever that is. It's Chun-Li. Like, despite how not very good her sequence nodes are, because she's a 1.x character, I still play her very regularly. I still think she's one of the most satisfying characters to play. And she was my very first limited character and my first favorite until Carter Thea. For male characters, I don't have a single 5-star limited male. I had to actually go check. It's kind of sad. Like, I wasn't here when everyone got free Shangliaos last year. Brant, Chiyuan, Jian, like, I've missed these characters or I don't want them. I don't even have Calculator. Like, if I had to choose from the current roster, it would absolutely be Chiyuan though, because his animations and attacks are like absolutely sick. Like, and no, by the way, I'm not counting Ling Yang, he doesn't count. He also asks, what's the most rewarding for you when you play WuWa? To me, it's actually like the community in the power fantasy. The community in getting to actually just talk to people about a game that I have been really enjoying in 2025. And then the power fantasy of playing like cool looking characters in a very beautiful world with fancy animation and groving Rover's harem of waifus and just being like slightly a little bit of a Guna game here and there. And I get to play it on my PlayStation 5. I don't play gacha games anymore unless I can play them on a controller on a console. Mikhail writes in, what's making you stay to play WuWa? I play both WuWa and ZZZ, but I've been ignoring ZZZ for a while now because of the pace of the story and the way of storytelling. I mean, I've got to be honest, YouTube is actually probably the biggest one. Like, I will not even pretend like it is or isn't. Like, I'm not going to hide it. I'm very transparent with everyone. Like, the only reason I have anyone and like a small circle and audience online is because of Wuthering Waves specifically. Like, so no matter where the game goes, or if one day I stop covering the game completely, maybe I'm not in the WuWa creator program, maybe I just stop personally playing, like, I will always give credit where it's due. Like, WuWa is the reason I'm online at all right now, and so I do really, really enjoy, like, and I also just do really, really enjoy, like, most of the entire cast of characters. I do enjoy the story, the setting, the gameplay, the visuals especially. Like, there is a lot to love at the moment. This could always change, of course, like how it is for you, Mikhail and ZZZ. Like, there was obviously a time where you enjoyed it more, but sometimes the games fall off and there's no shame in that, or taking a break or stop playing. Games are meant to be enjoyed. And while I admit I do get burnt out on WuWa, if I wasn't enjoying it and just the community as a whole and just YouTube because of it, I just simply wouldn't make videos. And the final question from Soap McDroppin. Gameplay aside, do you genuinely enjoy the story? Truth be told, like, I've kind of already answered this in the past with previous story reviews or just community posts and different other videos, but even putting the finale of Rina Sita aside, as I have like a full in-depth breakdown of the entire story and all of my thoughts already on the channel, yeah, no, I do. Like, although I also have mentioned this in the past too recently, I think, I have been having an issue with the stories being like so laser focused on the banner units only just to help sell them, and once they go away, there is characters we just don't see for like literally 6 months, even though they are still part of the main plot. I think Kuro's writing as a whole is going up in a positive way, but like, man, I really need to see them make more engaging interactions with non-banner units over longer periods of time. A living, breathing world to me, it doesn't mean like every main NPC and playable character somehow never returns again in the plot. Like when their banner's gone, like, I don't know, it would make even more sense for just like a damn 5-minute cameo, just a phone call over Rover's terminal. Like, okay, for example, after 2.2, like Carter Thea's story, with what happened to the Sentinel and Carter Thea, and like while everyone does find out what kind of happens in the background, this was like some earth-shattering lore and story dumps and revelations to like the whole of Rina Sita, and we don't get like any follow-ups for like most of the characters that were already involved in the story. Like, I don't think we saw Carlotta and Cantarella even meet before the finale, of course, unless that was in a companion quest, which I'm way overdue on. But like, overall, yes, I am enjoying the story a lot, but there is definitely holes to fill in terms of like long-form interactions that I hope they address in 3.0. I mean, heck, like, where the hell is the 1.x crew? Like, we've just straight abandoned all of them. It's kind of nuts, actually. Like, they're just gone. Like, Yang Yang keeps emailing us, and she's getting more and more desperate. I swear. Anyway, enough yapping out of me. Those are the questions that I saw or could find, so hopefully at least it was like semi-fun to listen to. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll go rest my voice and I'll leave the video there. So thank you all so much for watching and or listening, and as always, my name is Zeno, and you guys take care now.